For silent prayer or meditation. Please be seated. Does any member wish to give notice of a motion? Notice of a motion. Honorable Ntebe.
No, Chair, I hereby give notice that in the next sitting of the Council, I shall move that the Council debates the lack of protection of our people from insurers who are making billions of rands through policy lapses. 2, notes that the insurance company has been made to get away with daylight robbery and economic exploitation of our people through the non-inclusion of cash surrender value for lapsed policies, leading to many of our people paying their hard-earned cash for policies, and in some instances, for as long as over 20 years, only to be told that the policy lapsed because of missing 1 month premium. Acknowledge that it has been highly essential that the insurance industry be made to include cash surrender value clauses in their policies. And the Council is therefore tasked the Select Committee on Economic and Business Development to investigate this matter for a comprehensive report to be reported back to the Council. I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Mpambo Pugwana.
Thank you, Chairperson. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby move with notice that in the next sitting of Council, debates the deteriorating state of health infrastructure in most of our provinces. I so move. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you. Honorable Mokwele.
Thank you, Chair. I hereby move a notice of a motion that the House know that people of Galeshewe in the Northern Cape Province, Francis Bar District, are now going to have access to their clinics and healthcare centers that were only opening from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock because of the intervention of the EFF. The Minister of Health has now assisted and intervened in making sure that the hospitals and the clinics in that area are opening 24 hours. I so move. EFF is ready to govern.
Thank you. Honorable Dlamini. Okay, thank you. Honorable Mtimunye.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. In the name of the ANC, I move a notice of a motion that I hereby give notice that in the next sitting of the Council, I shall move that the Council urgently debates the proliferation of unlawful deductions by credit providers and employers. Note that a number of people, particularly the poor and vulnerable, are continuously exploited by unscrupulous and cunning credit providers and employers who show utter disregard of the law and the constitutional rights of our people. It has become not only apparent but highly necessary that Parliament, as the vanguard of the people, seek urgent intervention from government and the judiciary to put an end to this unlawful and shameless practice. And the Council tasked the Select Committee on Economic and Business Development to investigate this matter for a comprehensive report to the Council. I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Isaac.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move that this Council notes that numerous government interventions in municipalities such as the Tabachewe municipality and Emalahleni municipality have failed in Mpumalanga, and that the Auditor General continues to give these municipalities disclaimers in audit opinions. This House debates the failures of local government resulting in further alienating the poor, with reference to Section 152 of 2 of the Constitution. Calls upon the Select Committee of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs to urgently investigate Tabacheu and Emalahleni municipalities with a view to invoke Section 139 of the Constitution with the intention of placing these municipalities under administration. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kaula.
Ngiyathokoza sihlalo hloniphekile. On behalf of Inkatha Freedom Party, I move a motion that the House debates the escalating housing problem in the country, noting the recent upscale of service delivery protests in the country, also noting that this is further intensified by the inadequate program of allocating houses to rightful beneficiaries, and that some people jump the queue to the detriment of those who have been waiting for decades on end in the waiting lists, that the Department of Human Settlements must be held accountable for all these extraordinary shenanigans. I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Zwane.
Thank you, Chairperson. On behalf of the African National Congress, I give notice of a motion that in the next council, I'll move that one. Council debates the challenges facing farm school learners throughout the Western Cape province, especially in areas such as Wolseley, Stellenbosch, Wellington, and Grabo. And secondly, that council notes that many farm learners are forced to walk long distances to schools under dangerous conditions where they encounter many dangers, ranging from being raped, being robbed, or assaulted, and many of their schools are often under-resourced and poorly managed. I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Mikalakis.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move that at its next sitting, Council debates the late payment of state subsidies to schools in certain provinces. I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Engelbrecht.
Mr. Chair, thank you. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move with notice that this House debates the very disturbing tendencies in municipalities where the DA won in 2016, where political parties have created destabilizing situations to prevent the DA from governing effectively. In Hammanskraal, Kakana Gardens, the ANC councillor with a destabilizing group of people has prevented... Mr. Chair, can I be protected, please?
You are protected, Honorable Engelbrecht. Honorable members, let us not drown Honorable member.
In Hammanskraal...
Honorable Engelbrecht, can you continue?
In Hammanskraal, Kekana Gardens, the ANC councillor with a destabilizing group of people has prevented Magali's waterworks from delivering essential water services to the community who depend twice weekly on water deliveries to Jojo tanks for their survival. To get this water, the impoverished people of Kekana Gardens are now forced to pay drivers to bring them water. The DA will continue to drive change in spite of any destabilizing structures. I so move.
Thank you. Does any member wish to move a motion without notice? Other members?
Raised my hand, Chairperson.
You are not the only one.
No, but you cannot.
Yeah, I left 7 hands. There's time allocated for motion, so I want to deal with now a motion without notice. I'm starting this side. Let me be sure of the hands that are at this side. Honorable Kayla, you'll be the first one.
I move without notice on behalf of the United Democratic Movement that the House notes that Zolane Lasbon Tete is currently the country's lone major boxing world champion after an unanimous decision against Filipino boxer Arthur Villanueva in England on the 22nd of April 2017. Further notes that he became the first ever boxer in Eastern Cape to win 2 different major titles in 2 divisions, as he has also reigned as the IBF Junior Bantamweight champion on the same day. Congratulates Zolane Tete and his sparring partner and brother Magazole, his chief trainer Loisa Mtya, and his manager Mla Tengimfene. I wish his last born all the best in future boxing endeavor. I so move.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Nita.
Thank you, Chair. I hereby move on behalf of the African National Congress without notice that the Council debate violence against children in the Western Cape and notes that Child Welfare says Western Cape faces alarming cases of child rape, violence and death, as many children continue to live with the sad reality of being raped or killed in their own communities and often by their own people that they know. I so move, Chair.
Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Makwebu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby move without notice that the Council notes that on the 5th of May 2017, a renowned philanthropist, Tshepo Machaya, and his Ibandla Lasemthini evangelical movement in the Eastern Cape Province donated 130 new chairs to Gateway Clinic in Tata. The clinic sees around 400 to 600 patients every day, and patients had to stand for hours or sit on a concrete floor while waiting for medical help, as the clinic didn't have the chairs for patients. This generosity shows that there are people in the Eastern Cape who still care about the poor and the less fortunate in the province. This House congratulates Mr. Tshepo Machaya and his Ibandla Lasemthini evangelical movement for their noble sacrifice and generosity, and wish them success to reach out to other areas or places that may have a similar need, and wish them success in their endeavors. Honorable Chairperson, I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Samka.
African National Congress, I hereby move without notice that the Council notes that Wednesday, 10th May, marked 23 years since the inauguration of the late President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela as the first Black South African president. Furthermore, notes that President Mandela was inaugurated as the first Black president after the first democratic elections after the fall of apartheid rule in 1994, and takes this opportunity to acknowledge countless tireless efforts to wage a concerted battle to make a clean break with our atrocious divided past and build a prosperous, non-racial and non-sexist democratic society. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Chabangu? No, you're fine. Honorable Engelbrecht?
Mr. Chair, thank you. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move without notice that this House congratulates the Tshwane municipality for speeding up service delivery 6,000 title deeds are being handed out to residents so that they can own their own homes. Will invest 660 million in job-creating businesses. Spend 2 billion on maintenance and upgrades so that our people have reliable access to water. Is selling the mayoral mansion and using that money to build homes for residents who really need them. 7 informal settlements will be fully formalized through Project Tirane. No politicians may travel in blue light brigades or buy fancy cars in Tshwane because they do not deserve special treatment. 10,400 new electricity connections and 6,500 households will be given access to sanitation. It's because you guys can't do it that you're complaining. The new anti-drug unit is dedicated to taking drugs off our streets with the help of community-led organizations which offer support and drug eradication. And the City of Tshwane bus service has launched a cashless system so that bus drivers and passengers don't have to take the risk of carrying cash. While the City of Tshwane does not have all the answers to all the challenges, they are working around the clock.
Honorable Engelbrecht, your time has expired.
Mr. Chair, I was being interrupted
Your motion
continually.
will now become notice of a motion and will be printed in full on the next order paper.
Mr. Chair, I have a
Honorable
problem that
Julius.
you don't protect us when we're standing up here and I'm being continually heckled from the
No,
floor.
it's a minute and a half. It's not 2 minutes. It's a minute and a half. Honorable Julius.
Thank you, House Chair. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move without notice that this House congratulates the pro-poor Midvaal municipality budget that was delivered in Gauteng, Midvaal budget. At this week's State of City address, Mayor Bongani Baloyi, a young and dynamic leader of the DA, budgeted for, number 1, 200 million rand to increase water supply to Sicelo and other informal settlements. Number 2, 14.95 million rand to upgrade water treatment works at Val Marina and expand sewage network in Sicelo and Dalson. And number 3, 350 million rand for sanitation. Like other DA municipalities, Midvaal is committed to changing the past 20 years of ANC mismanagement. 2019 chairperson, Gauteng will be DA-led. I so move.
Yes.
Is there any objection to the motion? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become notice of a motion. Honorable Faba.
Thank you, Chairperson. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby move without notice that the Council notes that the DA welcomes the PricewaterhouseCoopers report containing discrepancies on the supply of coal to Eskom by the Guptas and Duduzane Zuma-owned company Tegeta. The report includes 5 serious findings that, with inconsistencies and discrepancies of reports that have been backdated, no compliance to financial evaluation, as well as poorly formulated contracts. One of the 3 contracts, you must listen to this, amounting to 7 billion was for the supply of coal by Tegeta to Komati Power Station, which is one of the 5 power stations identified for closure, and raised questions about how Eskom would be able to cover the cost for such a contract. Yet again, it has been revealed how the Gupta family, in cohort with President Zuma, has captured the state. And this House calls upon the relevant parties to account for the actions to Council. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become notice of a motion. Honorable Monakedi.
I, on behalf of the ANC, hereby move
without notice that this House, noting the collapse of trust between government and communities that are disenchanted with the decisions of the Municipal Demarcation Board on the demarcation of municipal boundaries, believing in the principle of fair and just treatment of the communities of South Africa, irrespective of their geographical, ethnic, and tribal backgrounds. Therefore, welcome the high-level ministerial delegation led by the President of the Republic of South Africa, the Honorable J.G. Zuma, to Vuwani community on Sunday, the 7th of May, 2017. That despite the chaos that resulted in the disruption of the said meeting, the meeting is a step in the right direction by government to engage communities. Therefore, call on the President of the Republic to explore an integrated approach to reaching out to all communities affected by the decisions of the Municipal Demarcation Board. I so move.
Is there any objection? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become notice of a motion. Honorable Zwane.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable members.
I rise
Order,
on a
members.
motion without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that one, Council notes with serious concern the escalating violent protests that have engulfed some of the communities in Limpopo, Gauteng, and Northwest Province. Two, that Council further notes with grave concern the total shutdown of schools and businesses associated with these protests. Three, that Council, according to the media, Council notes that the reports of these protests are associated with poor service delivery to our people. Council therefore further condemns in strongest terms the disruption of learning and the destruction of property and violence associated with these protests, while reaffirming the constitutionality, protected rights to freedom of association, assembly, and peaceful protests. Council calls on the Inter-Ministerial Task Team on Governance to urgently intervene in facilitating dialogue between the affected communities and local government administrators concerned. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? Yes. In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become notice of a motion. Honorable Mtetwa.
On behalf of the African National Congress, I hereby move without notice that the Council notes that Ms. Karabo Mkwena, who has been missing since 28 April, was allegedly found dead with her remains burned. And further note that her family and many South Africans use social media alerting the public about her disappearance, only for her to be found dead and brutally murdered by her boyfriend. Takes this opportunity to convey its heartfelt condolences to her family and condemns in the harshest possible terms her brutally murder, and call on the police to work tirelessly to ensure that the perpetrator is made to face full mighty of the law for his heinous and heartfelt crime. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? No. The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Kone.
Ndiyasebenza mna kaloku. I move on behalf of the EFF without notice that the House notes 1, Kolini is the most remote town in Ngakamudirimulema district in Northwest. 2, the town is characterized by racism and poverty. Black people of this town are exposed to everyday exploitation by white farmers. For instance, the killing of a 16-year-old boy allegedly stealing for allegedly stealing a sunflower. 3, we call upon our African brothers to unite in protecting each other and together fight white racist tendencies. It must also be noted that as Black people, we will never apologize nor succumb to being exploited by white racists. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? Is there any objection to the motion? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become notice of a motion. Honorable Mhlanga.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the ANC, I hereby move without notice that the council notes with great concerns that 5 lions escaped and fled away from Kruger National Park on Monday morning, close to Komartipoti, a community of about 500 people. Further notes that the area around Kruger National Park is one of the country's main tourist attractions and contains village and farmers that also raise cattle. This put people in lives and the livestock at risk of attack. Further notes that although 4 of the 5 lions have been captured, however, there is still one that has not yet been found, and takes this opportunity to appeal to Kruger National Park and Mpumalanga tourist and park agencies to tirelessly work to get their outstanding lion and warn the peoples and community to stay alert and carefully for their lives. So I move.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Julius.
Thank you, Chair. I rise on a point of order. The motion is a bit outdated. The lions are back. The only lion that's still missing is our lion Tau.
Honorable Isaac.
Chairperson, thank you for the opportunity. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move a motion without notice that this House takes note. In a reply to a parliamentary question to the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Nomvula Mokonyane, it has emerged that as of February 2017, 13 municipalities in Mpumalanga owe Rand Water Board more than 300 million rand. And that Bushbuckridge municipality, being the biggest debtor, now owes more than 200 million rand. This House resolves to call upon the MEC for Kochta in Mpumalanga to account as to why so many municipalities continue avert paying their debt that they owe to Rand Water Board, which is affecting the flow of water supply in various municipalities throughout the province. Chairperson, the MEC needs to ensure that National Treasury mediates between the water boards and municipalities in terms of Section 44 of the Municipal Management Act, and that the DA will continue to monitor the situation and ensure that our people throughout the country do not suffer the consequences of this dismal ANC-led administration. I thank you.
Is there any objection to the motion? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become notice of a motion. Honorable Dlamini.
Chairperson, angibonga ukuthi i-DA recognize i-achievement ye-ANC eTshwane Metro. I hereby move without notice that the council notes and welcome that the Minister of Sports and Recreation, Thulas Nxesi, has reinstated Cricket South Africa, Netball South Africa, and the South African Rugby Union's rights to bid for major events. Further notes that the 3 federations and Athletics South Africa were banned from bidding and hosting major international events in the country due to their failure to meet their transformational targets last year, April, by former Minister of Sports and Recreation, Honorable Mbalula. I therefore congratulate these federations on their attainment of the agreed transformation targets and wish all of the best to South African Rugby Union in their bid for 2023 Rugby World Cup. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Labuskaghni.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby move without notice that the Council welcomes the announcement of the establishment of the Regional Magistrates Court in Skukuza in the Kruger National Park to combat rhino poaching. The establishment of this court, which has jurisdiction to hear more serious matters over a larger geographical area, will increase the capacity and successful criminal prosecution of rhino-related and other biodiversity crimes. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Ntebe.
No, Chair, I stand to move without notice on behalf of the African National Congress that tomorrow, the 12th of May, 2017, marks 2 years since the passing away of the struggle veteran and political activist Isitholandwe Saparangwe Mme Ruth Sekgomotse Mompati in 2015. Further notes that Mme Dr. Mompati was one of the leaders of the Women's March to the Union Building in 1956 and a political activist who dedicated her entire life to fighting for freedom and emancipation of our people. Takes this opportunity to pay homage to this fearless and great warrior of our struggle for freedom and reaffirm our commitment to honor her memory and indelible contribution to our fight for freedom. I so move.
Is there any objection to the motion? The motion is agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Te Blanche.
Thank you, Chairperson. On behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I hereby wish to move a motion without notice that this House encourages free and fair elections as a critical part of our democracy. Noting that recently in Beaufort West, the former mayor was involved in, amongst others, assaulting a journalist in a council meeting, verbally abusing members of the public in person as well as over the radio, and intimidating and threatening activists for which he paid an admission of guilt fine. This House condemns these and other actions that would negatively impact on the spirit of the elections and call on all political parties to contest the elections in a manner that promotes participation and celebrate our democracy. I so move. Thank you, Chair.
Is there any objection to the motion? In light of the objection, the motion may not be proceeded with. The motion without notice will now become notice of a motion. Order, honorable members. We now come to the first motion on the order paper as printed in the name of the acting chief whip. Acting chief whip, Honorable Ntebe. Honorable Mokwili.
Thank you, Chairperson. Kiema fa go checka gore we once had an issue about the chief whip, Honorable Mateme, in the first term of this August House. And then we were promised by the highest authority that the matter will be dealt with. So I'm rising here, seeing her in the House, sitting at where the officials are supposed to sit. And there has never been any information to any political party that is in this house about the matter. And we are seeing her in the house, yet you are calling for an acting chief whip. So we need to know whether is she still the chief whip of the house, because that is the only platform where we can get information, or what, so that when we act based on the information provided by this August House. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mokwele. Honorable Dr. Mateme is a member of the National Council of Provinces, is still the chief whip of the NCOP. And today we are aware that Honorable Dr. Mutime was attending PAP meeting in Johannesburg, and we're dealing with things that need a quorum for us to vote today. She's present here, and she's not sitting where officials are sitting. She's sitting where a chief whip is sitting. And as you correctly said, the issue was referred to the powers that be. Allow that process, because don't subject me as a presiding officer to a process that you know that is not supposed to be part of an agenda item, as now I have to allow what we have printed for us to continue. Honorable Labuskagan.
Chairperson, on a point of order, I'm so sorry. I can't see on that side, so I haven't been alerted to the fact that I received an email telling me that the chief whip is on business. Now there's an acting chief whip, and the chief whip is sitting in the house. There's no rule in the rule book making provision for a person sitting in the house and another person is acting. So either the chief whip has to take over her duties, or she should leave the house, because she is actually appointed somebody else to act. And I can quote you the rule.
Honorable, can you allow me to make a ruling? Yeah, let me deal with the point of order. Honorable members, let us not raise an issue that is not an issue. Honorable Mokwele, when you were recognized, I allow you to speak. So can I be allowed to make a ruling? Honorable members, as the Honorable Chief Whip of the NCOP was not part of us this week, Honorable Ntebe was given the role to be the acting Chief Whip. And as we are proceeding today, as we have started, Honorable Ntebe is still the acting Chief Whip of the National Council of Provinces. I'm clarifying that one. The second issue, you raise an issue about an issue that is outstanding. I said, you know, we do have the chairperson, the deputy chairperson, and the issue is not part of what we're supposed to be processing here. No. Honorable members, I'm still presiding. I can deal with any other different issue, not on the one that I've made a ruling. And no, allow me to, yeah, I'll give you a chance. I'm saying I'll give you a chance, but don't get to what I've already made a ruling. Honorable Kone, Honorable Kone, Honorable Kone, I'm giving you that opportunity.
In future, you must learn not to intimidate us, Chairperson. You can't predict what I'm about to say. You must just give me the platform and allow me. I'm a member of this house and I've got rights. Chairperson, it can't be business as usual. We are not running a company here. Honorable Ntebe is an acting. Shut up.
No,
Honorable
honorable
Ntebe
members.
is acting.
Honorable members.
Honorable Chief Whip is there sitting on the Chief Whip's seat. Now, at the same time, Honorable Ntebe is acting, and they are both in the house. The Chief Whip must go. And this matter of the Chief Whip that was raised, it's a crucial matter. Maybe to you, you might take it It's very light because you think it's an ANC run company or a tuck shop. No, you must, when it comes to other parties, you must take us very serious as members of this parliament.
You have
It can't
made
be
your
business
point.
as usual, no. It can't be business as usual that the Honorable Chief Whip is sitting there with the matter at hand at the moment. Thank you very much.
Honorable Ntebe, let me take the point of order from Honorable Ntebe. I'll come to you. I'll give you a chance. No, I recognize Honorable Kone. Honorable Ntebe.
Chair, I plead that we proceed with the business of the day. One, you have made a ruling on the matter that has been raised. You have also made a ruling that nobody will raise an issue that you have already concluded on. Thirdly, there's no rule, no any convention that can bar the Chief Whip of the House from attending the business of the House. Can we please proceed?
Honorable members, I've been very lenient allowing a point of order that is not even part of what we're discussing. I'm not going to entertain your point of order. I'm not going to entertain it. Honorable Ntebe, can you present what is on as the acting chief whip, what is on the order paper? Sorry, Honorable Ntebe, let me deal with Honorable Julius, not unless it's a separate matter. No, it's not about the prediction. I'm not going to entertain the issue of the chief whip because I've made a ruling about it. And if you're not happy with the ruling, you know the procedure. Honorable Julius.
Thank you, House Chair. I just need clarity on the ruling. If you can just give us the rule that you base your ruling on, then I'll be happy. If you give us the rule, because I mean, it cannot be that you make the ruling and you expect us just to take it. We are all guided by rules. This thing that the ANC factionalism and infighting is actually causing trouble in the House today. And you must sort yourself out before you come here, because there's a letter given by the Chief Whip, but the letter wasn't withdrawn. You still have the letter. The Chief Whip comes in not talking to you. It's because of this factionalism in the ANC that we are sitting with these problems today. And you want to, you want to run away with the rule.
Honorable Julius. Honorable Julius, Honorable, can you take your seat, all of you? Honorable members, I have, Honorable Mukwele, can you take your seat? Can you take your seat? Honorable Mokwele, you are not even recognized, and you are undermining the authority of a presiding officer. I've given you an opportunity to present whatever. I've made a ruling about the issue. Honorable Julius, I'm responding direct to you to what you have raised. The Honorable Chief Whip, it's a member of the NCOP and has got a right to be in the House. Honorable Ntebe, can you present what is on the order paper?
Chair, I rise to propose that the resolution adopted by the NCOP on the 20th of September 2016, which established an ad hoc committee on ethics and members' interest, and a similar resolution was adopted by the National Assembly on the 13th of September 2016, that the committee was initially set to report on the 10th of November, and a resolution extending the deadline to the 31st of March 2017 was adopted by both houses. Joint Rules 138 subsection 5 subsection B, which provides that an ad hoc committee, joint committee, ceases to exist when the date for completion of the task has expired, and that the committee has ceased to exist after the 31st of March 2017 when the date for the completion of the task expired. Resolved subject to the concurrence of the National Assembly to
Honorable members, can you take your seat? Honorable members, no, you know, okay, can you allow me to assist the process? Honorable members, can you take your seat so that I can recognize you? One, I'm not the one who's dealing with mics. I just recognize you. Yeah, can you take your seat? Yes, you'll be recognized. Take your seat. Can you take your seat? You can't all of you be talking. So how can I recognize all of you standing? Members, honorable members, yeah, honorable members, because this is a grave disorder, so it will be in order for me to suspend it for 10 minutes for parties to have a consultation at the office of the chairperson, and then from there we'll resume the business of the day. I'm saying parties, whips of parties to go to the office of the chair so that the issue can be resolved, and then we'll resume in 10 minutes because of the grave disorder. Please be seated. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to apologize for what happened and thank you for being understanding and allowing us the 10 minutes to resolve the impasse. We were able to try to stick to the time. Indeed, I can report that the issue is receiving attention as I tried to do when I was doing the ruling. Without much ado, I will go back and come to the first motion on the order paper as printed in the name of Acting Chief Whip. Acting Chief Whip. Honorable Ntebe.
Thank you so much, Chair. I rise for the Council to note that the resolution adopted by the NCOP on the 20th of September 2016, which established an ad hoc committee, joint committee on ethics and members' interest, and a similar resolution was then adopted by the National Assembly on the 13th of September 2016. That the committee was initially set to report on the 10th of November 2016, and a resolution extending the deadline to the 31st of March 2017 was then adopted by both houses. Joint Rule 138, subsection 5, subsection B, which provides that an ad hoc joint committee ceases to exist when the date for completion of the task has expired, and that the committee has ceased to exist after the 31st of March when the date for the completion of the task expired. Therefore, resolved to subject the subject to the concurrence of the National Assembly to re-establish the ad hoc joint committee on ethics and members' interests with the same composition, membership, mandate, and powers as its predecessor. Instructs the committee to incorporate in its work the proceedings of all the work of the previous committee, and set the deadline by which the committee must report as the 31st of August 2017. I so move.
As there is no speakers list, I shall now put the question. The question is that the motion be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 7.1, I shall first allow provinces the opportunity to make declaration of vote if they so wish. We shall now proceed to voting. I'll do it per alphabetical order. I now call upon provinces. Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape, support.
Free State.
Thanks, Honorable Chairperson. Free State support.
Gauteng.
Gauteng supports the motion.
KwaZulu Natal.
Agrees.
Limpopo.
Mpopo ya dumellana.
Mpumalanga.
Pumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape. Northwest. Western Cape. 9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declared the motion as agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. We now come to the second motion on the order paper as printed in the name of the Acting Chief Whip. Acting Chief Whip.
Chair, I rise that Rule 239, subsection 1, which provides inter alia that the consideration of the bill may not commence before at least 3 working days have lapsed since the committee's report was tabled, be suspended for the purpose of consideration of the DORA bill and the Financial Sector Regulation Bill. Thank you, sir.
As there is no speakers list, I shall now put the question. The question is that the motion be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 71, I shall now allow provinces the opportunity to make declaration of vote if they so wish. We shall now proceed to the voting on the question. I shall do it in alphabetical order per province. Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape support the bill, Chair.
Free State.
Free State support, Honorable Chairperson.
Gauteng.
Gauteng supports, Chair.
KwaZulu Natal.
KwaZulu Natal agrees.
Limpopo.
Limpopo ya dumellana.
Mpumalanga.
Pumalanga agrees.
Northern Cape. Ukoni Buphirima. Western Cape,
The Western Cape agrees.
9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the motion agreed in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. The Secretary will read the first order of the day. Secretary.
Consideration of Division of Revenue Bill B4 2017 National Assembly Section 76 and report of Select Committee on Appropriations thereon.
The Honorable Mohai, Chairperson of Appropriations Select Committee.
Thank you, Honorable House Chairperson and honorable members. Today marks yet another important milestone in the calendar of our democratic parliament with the passing of the Division of Revenue Bill 2017-18 financial year. As honorable members would recall, this bill seeks to provide equitable division of revenue raised nationally amongst 3 spheres of government. In tabling this bill, the then Minister of Finance indicated, among others, that the transfers made through this bill redistribute resources from areas of high economic activity where most of the country's taxes are raised to areas where public services are needed most in other spheres of government. The allocation, distribution, and stabilization of resources is therefore a critical aspect in achieving the macroeconomic objective of our country. Allocation made to provincial spheres are mainly for provision of basic education, health, education, roads and human settlement, along with other services in social development and agriculture. Hence, both social and economic priorities are emphasized. On the other hand, the allocations to local sphere are to provide for basic services such as water, sanitation, electricity, reticulation, as well as roads and community services. Emphasis is focused on ensuring service delivery. The bill provides for an amount of 1.4 trillion total budget for 2017-18, and this increases to 1.7 trillion in 2019-20 financial year. When the contingency reserve, the debt service cost, and provincial and local government conditional transfers are excluded, the national equitable shares amount to 47.5%, provincial allocation is 43.4%, and local government receives 9.1%. Despite the fact that the local government receives the smallest share, it is based on the rationale that municipalities have greater potential to raise own revenue compared to provinces and national departments. On the other hand, the growth in the allocation to local sphere is aligned to the government commitment to ensure that the provision of basic services, particularly to the poor households, is maintained and access continue to be expanded. During the briefings and public hearings, various stakeholders and provinces raised concern with the current formula that are used to calculate the provincial equitable share and local government equitable share. The National Treasury has indicated that the equitable share formula is currently under review, and some of the issues and concerns raised will also be taken into consideration. Despite the concerns raised, most stakeholders agree that 2017 Division of Revenue allocations provides for a substantial redistribution of revenue raised through taxes in relatively wealthy areas and where the demand for subsidized public services is the highest. Thus, the most rural municipalities receive twice the allocation per household than what is transferred to metropolitan municipalities. The committee has, however, found that there are still some challenges at the local sphere, such as effective planning, budgeting, efficient and effective spending of the allocated funds, as well as capacity to manage the debtors and the creditors. House Chair, it is for this reason that the bill contains measures to introduce new conditional grants, reprioritization of some grant funds, reinforcing of some grant funds,
termination of certain grants, and the reconfiguration of certain grants, and reductions and addition to some conditional grant baseline. The report that is tabled in the House has got far more greater details that will assist members when they go through it. The committee welcomed the National Treasury's initiative of introducing the Municipal Standard Chart of Accounts, which is an attempt to improve the financial capacity of South African municipalities. Having considered the Division of Revenue Bill 4 of 2017 and submission made by stakeholders and provinces, the committee recommends the adoption of the Division of Revenue Bill 4 of 2017 without amendments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mohai. I shall now put the question. The question is that the bill be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 7.1, I shall allow provinces the opportunity to make declaration of vote if they so wish. Western Cape.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. On behalf of the Western Cape, I would like to record the following declaration regarding 2017 Division of Revenue Bill. This bill has highlighted that provinces face a number of economic challenges, such as 35% of the labor force remains unemployed. Income growth remains uneven. The baseline of the municipal infrastructure grant is reduced by 100 million. The direct component of water services infrastructure grant is reduced by 400.4 million, and the urban settlement development grants baseline is reduced by 90 million rand. The cost for provinces and municipalities to provide public services is growing at a faster rate than transfer from the national government. Chairperson, the DA's promise to the people of this province is good governance. This is also our promise to the rest of the country after the 2019 elections, when we will be the national government. Our success brought about its own challenges. With a rapid migration of people to this province from other parts of the country and elsewhere, it is difficult to build the infrastructure required to cater for the bigger numbers. We have only enough funds, Chairperson, to build and replace 10 schools, while the actual need over the 10-year period amounts to 86 new schools and a replacement of 72 schools. This number does not even make provision for schools for special needs. Honourable Chairperson, on behalf of the Western Cape, we remind this House of the promise made by the President in his SONA reply 2016 to deal with gangsterism and drugs in the Western Cape. This commitment has still not borne any results to date. The Western Cape Province calls on National Treasury to consider the correct statistics in the migration to the Western Cape and therefore allocate financial resources accordingly. Honourable Chair, I wish to make it clear that the Western Cape continues to spend budget allocations responsibly, further focusing on service delivery for the poorest of its communities. Honourable Chairperson, the Western Cape support the 2017 Division of Revenue Bill. I thank you.
Thank you. Northwest.
No, Chair, mostly we want to support the commitment on the conditional grants that they are beginning to bring results to the communities. Also the commitment on the establishment and the upgrading of the sports facilities. We also want to emphasize that monitoring of the monitoring mechanism on the expenditure and rollovers, it's also a commitment. And on just the Northwest, we want to welcome the commitment that the eradication of the bucket system will also be catered in this. We want to support the DORA bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Northern Cape.
Honourable Chairperson, as the Northern Cape, we support the Division of Revenue Bill because it fulfills the requirements set out in the relevant sections of the Constitution and government's response to the FFC recommendations and any assumptions for formulas used in arriving at the respective division among provinces and municipalities. It's also in line with Section 10.5 of the Intergovernmental Fiscal Relations Act. Honorable Chairperson, the allocated funds in the Division of Revenue is dedicated to the realizing of the constitutional mandated social rights of our people, including education, healthcare, social security, and housing. The Northern Cape Province receives a total of 10.009 billion rand for the 2017-18 financial year, of which the equitable share allocation amounts to 11.7 billion and conditional grants to 14.3 billion rand. Especially grateful, Honourable Chairperson, this province to the government provincial roads maintenance grant over the MTEF period 3.4 billion. For comprehensive HIV and AIDS TB grant 1.6 billion. Education infrastructure 1.6 billion as well. Human settlements 1.3 billion and the health revitalization grant 1.2 billion. Also special mention of the social work employment grant of 600,000 rand for the current financial year. The learners with profound intellectual disabilities 2 million. And for ECD, I'm very passionate about this, 13.8 million rand. Grateful to the 16 municipalities in the Northern Cape receiving allocations for bulk water supply amounting to 100.426 million rand. Honourable Chairperson, as the Northern Cape, we believe that the Division of Revenue Bill will ensure that our province continue with its mandate to work tirelessly to deliver quality services to the people of the Northern Cape. We support the Division of Revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Honorable Chairperson, as Limpopo, we supported the Division of Revenue Bill, which provides for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally among the national, provincial, and local spheres of government for the 2017-18 financial year. The bill also makes the determination of each province equitable share and allocation to provinces, local government, and municipalities from national government's equitable share and the responsibilities of all three spheres pursuant to such division and allocation. It is our view as Limpopo that the Division of Revenue Bill promotes predictably and certainty in respect of all allocations to provinces and municipalities. It allows us the opportunity to plan our revenue allocations over a multi-year period, which also ensures that there is proper coordination between policy, planning, and budgeting. The bill also promotes transparency and accountability in the resource allocations processes by ensuring that all allocations, except Schedule 6 allocations, are reflected on the budgets of provinces and municipalities, and the expenditure of conditional allocations is reported on by the receiving provincial departments and municipalities. As the Limpopo province, we have engaged all stakeholders in the province about the allocations to our province. Although there is a general consensus that we need more resources to continue our agenda of delivering quality services to the people of Limpopo, we are also conscious of the fact that we work with limited national resources. It is for this reason that under the leadership of Premier Ntate Matabata and MEC for Finance, Ntate Rob Tuli, we have made collective resolve to optimally and with greater prudence use the resources allocated to our province to change the lives of our people. I have been particularly mandated by the Limpopo leadership to express our appreciation to the fact that the value of the household subsidy for free basic services was updated to account for rising prices, including bulk water and electricity. Indeed, this demonstrated that the ANC government is a caring government. As the Limpopo province, we want to say we must continue our focus in alleviating the burden of poverty facing many of our people. I thank you.
KZN.
Yeah, thank you, Host Chair. The province of KwaZulu-Natal declare its mandate in support of the bill. Chairperson, service deliveries is continuing in KZN. Through this allocation, we've seen allocations to fighting corruption and crime, particularly in the border area of Mozambique, Swaziland, and KZN, where the high crime of hijackings and social ills have emerged. For instance, killing of people with albinism, for multi-purposes. The allocations of the province address these matters of service delivery. Children in these areas have benefited through this allocation. 10 million has been allocated to make sure that there are boats to help the children to cross big rivers, that to make sure that they do receive the basic right to education. The province of KwaZulu-Natal has also learned fast, Honorable Chairperson and delegates, to start building its own revenue, to start to make sure that it is resilient against the economic imperatives that are negative to service delivery. In its commitment, it will continue to serve the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Chairperson, last year it was voted by independent media company as the best government, and that government is run by the African National Congress chair. And that is the government for the future, and that's the government for the future even after 2019. ANC will continue to lead, and it will continue to commit itself to fight poverty, underdevelopment, and make sure that there is employment. It will continue to make sure that corruption doesn't find its route to its governance. The province of KwaZulu-Natal chair support is thus. Thank you.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Thank you, House Chair. House Chair, we as the permanent delegation from the province of Mpumalanga carries a full mandate as printed in the mandate, full mandate signature by the Speaker of the Legislature of Mpumalanga. We support the bill number 4 of 2017, Chair, because the bill gives expression to our commitment to bring development to all our communities and address the challenges of poverty and unemployment. The bill allows us to continue to explore job creation opportunities offered by the emerging green economy. As Mpumalanga, we have put in place measures to develop our suppliers, SMEs, and cooperatives from historically marginalized communities to enter into the supply chain of the major industry as we begin our long road towards radical economic transformation. It is our view that our SMEs and cooperatives can no longer be regulated to just supply toilet papers, stationery, and catering, amongst other things. This bill gives expression to this commitment and other measures that have been put in place to ensure economic advancement of the previously marginalized communities. We join the people of Mpumalanga, Honorable House Chair, and all stakeholders in our province to welcome and support the Division of Revenue Bill, Bill number 4 of 2017, as a decisive expression of the will of our people, and work tirelessly to change the lives of the people of Mpumalanga. I thank you.
Thank you. Gauteng. Free State.
Thanks very much, Honorable Chairperson. The Free State support the bill, but also raise some concern, Honorable Chair. One, the equitable share formula must be reviewed as it is not based towards rural and poor municipality, Honorable Chairperson. Secondly, the sufficient allocation of the water service infrastructure grant to the Free State must be considered. Other thing, Honorable Chairperson, the provisional road maintenance grant must be increased, ensuring the centrality of the province. I thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The Free State support the bill.
Thank you. Eastern Cape.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The Eastern Cape province, we support the Division of Revenue Bill, number 4 of 2017, because it is aligned with the broad trust of our state of the province address by our Honorable Premier, Phumulo Moswale, on the 27th, or on the 17th February 2017. It builds on the work that we are doing as the province to improve the lives of our people and give expression to what we intend to do over the MTF to advance radical economic transformation and deliver on equality services to our communities. The projected receipt of the 2017-2018 financial year are 74.64 billion, which consists of equitable share of 61.847 billion, accounting for 80 our municipal level. As the province, we welcome this and support this as a decisive and indicative of our continued fight to fight a battle against poverty, unemployment, and ensure that our people receive quality services. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We shall now proceed in voting on the question. I now call upon provinces, Eastern Cape,
Eastern Cape, support, Chair.
Free State,
Free State support, Honorable Chair.
Gauteng,
Gauteng supports, Chair.
KwaZulu Natal,
KwaZulu-Natal iyasekela.
Limpopo,
Limpopo iThakapere.
Mpumalanga,
Malanga, Chris.
Northern Cape,
Cape agree.
Northwest, Western Cape. 8 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the bill as agreed to in terms of section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable Timbi.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, benifuna ukuqonda ukuthi ingaba ivumelekile na le ndaba yenziwa i-EFF ne-DA ukuthi ziphume ngenjongo zokuba i-collapse i-house. Thank you.
No, it's you can't deal with it that way. They know what they are doing, so we have to sort our own self. I'm not entertaining that issue.
On a point of order, the honourable member is making an accusation that we have left as the DA and the EFF to make the House collapse. That's absolutely not true, and I want you to ask him to withdraw, because I am still
Honourable
here,
members.
and we are not causing the House to collapse. He must withdraw.
Honourable members, I don't know what you are trying to achieve. The secretary will read the second order of the day.
Consideration of Financial Sector Regulation Bill, B34B, 2015, National Assembly, Section 75, and report of Select Committee on Finance thereon.
The Honourable De Pierre.
Honourable Chairperson, honourable members of the House, the Financial Sector Regulation Bill, also referred to as the Twin Peaks, is a comprehensive model for regulating the financial sector in South Africa. Its purpose is to address the shortcomings of the current financial legislation, given that South Africa has not changed its framework for the financial regulations since the creation of the Financial Services Board and the Office of the Registrar of Banks in 1990. National Treasury indicated that the current regulatory challenges in South Africa are that too many regulators are involved with the financial sector. Most financial firms are regulated by different financial regulators, and that there is a need to coordinate these regulators. South Africa has learned some lessons from the global financial crisis that occurred in 2008 and 2009 and the world's responses to such crises. The crisis we have since 2008 was primarily caused by the greed of bankers caused by the financial sector in the United States. And it is us, the developing world, who are at this moment bearing the ultimate cost. Furthermore, peer review of the current legislation has shown that the impact of poorly designed regulations and increase in cost on society in general, amongst other things. The Twin Peaks seeks to strengthen financial stability, improve market conduct, widen access to financial services, and combat financial crime such as money laundering. In simple terms, the bill aims to make the financial sector safer and make it work more effectively in the interest of all South Africans. It intends to reduce potential threats to financial stability and better protect customers by ensuring that financial institutions treat customers fairly, enhance financial inclusion, and ensure financial transformation. The main intents of the bill are the peaks, which are the development of the Prudential Authority, a body that will promote and enhance the safety and soundness of financial institutions, as well as the Financial Sector Conduct Authority that will protect financial customers, and the Financial Services Tribunal, which will hear and decide appeals in a transparent manner, and financial stability through the South African Reserve Bank and the Financial Stability Oversight Committee, a committee that will coordinate financial stability issues. Honourable Chairperson, the committee had 29 hours dealing with the bill, as well as a study tour to Mexico in August, September 2016, and on the 14th of February, we engaged with the bill again, went to public hearings on the 28th and 29th of March, where 10 stakeholders appeared before the committee and made their submissions in Gauteng. During the public hearings, the National Treasury and the Financial Services Board responded to the issues raised by the stakeholders. The committee then had a clause-by-clause deliberation on the proposed amendments of the bill with the National Treasury and the Reserve Bank on the 3rd of May 2017. When we look at the implementation of the legislation, National Treasury did a study on the Twin Peaks in 2016. Successful implementation of the bill is expected to enhance cooperation and coordination between regulators through a legal framework. These regulators include the National Credit Regulator, the Council for Medical Schemes, the Competition Commission, and the National Consumer Commission under the umbrella of the Council of Financial Regulators. A crisis management and resolution framework will be established to better manage possible disruptions in the financial system that threatens financial stability. The Reserve Bank, the Financial Stability Oversight Committee, and the Financial Sector Contingency Forum will work together to ensure overall improved financial stability. The Prudential Authority, under the auspices of the Reserve Bank, has been tasked with the responsibility of enhancing soundness of financial institutions and protect customers against the risk of failure of financial institutions. The support systems established in terms of the bill, such as the Financial System Council of Regulators, Financial Interministerial Council, the Ombud Regulatory Council, and the Financial Services Tribunal, are expected to facilitate this implementation. I turn to the observations and the way forward. The committee was particularly concerned, Chair, about the impact of the new financial sector regulations model would have on the fees the financial institutions will charge customers and the disproportionate impact this would have on the poor and those with low incomes. In order to better protect the customers, the financial sector must be held to higher standards, that generic customer protection standards must be applied consistently across the sector. The committee noted that all the stakeholders' concerns was made during the public hearings, which are summarized in the report, and the National Treasury and Financial Services Board responded to that. The JSE and the Banking Association of South Africa explicitly supported the objectives of the bill in relation to the financial inclusion and transformation of the financial sector. The committee noted BASA's proposals that Parliament should conduct effective oversight through hearings over the implementation of the bill, and we will definitely do that. Provide stakeholders with an opportunity for the stakeholders to present their particular experiences over the implementation period to Parliament, and a framework on oversight, consumer protection and education, as well as inclusivity. Honourable Chairperson, the committee recommends as follows that for the adoption of the bill with the proposed amendments. 16 clauses were amended, as well as Schedule 4, referring to the amendments to the Financial Markets Act, Sections 50. Section 132, 135, 137, and 138 are aligned to the Financial Intelligence Center Act. referring to the requirements for inspections, entry, search, and investigations. Honourable Chairperson, I table the report and the proposed amendments to the bill for consideration by the House. The DA reserved its position on the bill. Thank you, Chair.
That concludes the debate. I shall now put the question. The question is that the bill, subject to proposed amendments, be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 63, I shall first allow political parties to make declaration of vote if they so wish. The Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. The Mammoth Bill, known as Twin Peaks, which provides for a major overhaul of the regulation of the financial sector in South Africa, was referred to the NCOP in December 2016. Contained in its provisions is the establishment of two new regulators, including a new prudential authority responsible for the regulation of the soundness of firms, and a new market conduct authority responsible for the regulation of the conduct of firms. The bill, which took in excess of 12 months to claw its way through the National Assembly, has made its way through the National Council of Provinces in 6 months. In spite of the fact that both houses have scrutinized this bill for a collective 18 months, we still have reservations. Our reservations include coordination. The national credit regulator responsible for the regulation of the credit industry will not fall under the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, which will be established in terms of the bill. The decision not to include the National Credit Regulator under the Financial Sector Conduct Authority compromises an important objective of the bill, that of improving the coordination of the financial sector in South Africa. And finally, our reservations include excessive cost. A key impact study estimated that the total cost of implementing the bill would be about 1.03 billion rand. Included in this amount is 341 million rand to establish the Prudential Authority, 611 million rand to establish the Financial Conduct Authority. However, this excludes transitional costs, which are yet to be finalized. The concern here is that not only are the costs excessive, but they will be passed on to consumers, which could compromise another important objective of the bill, which is financial inclusion. We cannot therefore support the Financial Sector Regulation Bill and hope that these defects will be fixed when the bill is firmly back in the National Assembly. Thank you.
ANC.
Thanks very much, Chairperson. Unlike the party of litany of reservations without providing any solution, the ANC rises in support of the Financial Sector Regulation Bill. In essence, instability in the financial sector can, as we have seen in 2007 to 2009 globally, have a devastating impact. Besides meeting our international obligation as the Republic, the bill seeks to ensure that we regulate for financial stability, regulate so that we improve market conduct, and that we regulate so that we provide greater access to financial services for the poor. The objective reality that confronts us as global financial crime, illicit flows, money laundering, and transfer mispricing have all required increased financial sector regulation. The bill will reduce potential threats to financial stability and better protect our people from unscrupulous behavior and deal with unfair financial practices. To do this, we are introducing regulatory structures to promote and enhance safety and soundness of the financial institutions, a matter that is critical to any functioning economy. Protection for those who transact the financial sector is provided through the Financial Sector Conduct Authority and the Financial Services Tribunal that will hear and decide appeals in transparent manner, as well as ensuring that financial stability through the South African Reserve Bank and the Financial Stability Oversight Committee. In line with our constitutional responsibility as the NCOP, we have consulted widely, Honorable Chair of the House, and embarked on rigorous process to give the bill due diligence. We have conducted public hearings in Gauteng, as indicated. Certainly, We have concerns, in particular, the impact of the new financial sector regulation model will have on the fees the financial institution will charge customers and the disproportionate impact this would have on the poor and those with low incomes. In order to better protect the customers, the financial sector must be held to higher standards, that generic consumer protection and standards must be applied consistently across all sectors. Most bills that introduce fundamentally new systems, especially if they are of comprehensive, technically challenging and long as the financial sector regulation bill are and are never perfect by the time they are voted on in Parliament, the real test of their provision is in the implementation. The ANC supports the bill.
Thank you. UDM?
Later. Chairperson, the UDM supports the bill. For once, there will be stability in the financial sector. Our people, the poor people, have been suffering, being overcharged by banks, insurance companies, and so. So we hope that this bill will bring stability to the financial sector. For too long, our people have been suffering for years, where they are being overcharged. Some of them have been paying, as Honorable Ndebe was saying, insurances for years. And just because they miss a payment, that policy is gone. We are living with these people here, and we hope that this bill, we've consulted on this here, but we hope that this bill will bring stability and it will help our people, the poorest of the poor. The UDM supports the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, we shall now proceed to the voting on the question. Honorable members, it seems there is no quorum. In terms of Rule 61, subsection 1, the bell will be rung for 3 minutes. Honorable members, let us be seated. Honorable members, in view of the issue of the quorum, in terms of Rule 61, subsection 2, I therefore postpone the decision on the question. The Secretary will read the third order of Honorable De Pierre.
It is with utter dismay that we experience what is happening now. South Africa is waiting for this. This is to protect the poor people as well. This is to fight money laundering and financial crime. And this is the reaction of the opposition. We will carry this message to north,
Honorable
and
De
south,
Pierre.
east and west of South Africa.
Honorable De Pierre, the Secretary will read the third order of the day. Honorable members, Honorable De Pierre was out of order. We are now getting to the third order. I've made my ruling about the procedure of today. To who?
Of order, House Chairperson, I understand that you said Honorable De Beer was out of order, and he was. I respect your decision. But I would like to ask you to rule earlier before he makes the declaration. If the ANC can't govern, they don't have their people here today. It's not because of us that the bill didn't
Can you
pass.
take your seat?
It's you that don't do your job.
Honorable members. Honorable members, you know you can't compromise the decorum of the House. The Secretary must read the third order of the day. Honorable Kaul.
No, thanks, Honorable Chairperson. Besides Honorable De Beer being out of order, but because of the accusation that he has made to the opposition parties, I think he must withdraw because 100% of the UDM is in the House. 100% of the IFP is in the House. Now, Honorable De Beer must withdraw before we proceed, Chair.
Honorable De Pierre, can you retract what you have said? Though I've made a ruling, can you retract what you have said?
I made a mistake. I refer to the Democratic Alliance. I made a mistake. And if I have to withdraw in terms of the rules, I will withdraw. Thank you.
The Secretary must read the third order of the day.
Consideration of Protected Disclosures Amendment Bill, B40B 2015, and report of the Select Committee on Security and Justice thereon.
Honorable Krimbi, the Chairperson of the Select Committee on Justice.
Thank you, Chairperson. The National Assembly referred the Protected Disclosures Amendment Bill, Bill 40B of 2015, to the National Council of Provinces for concurrency on the 22nd November 2016. The National Council of Provinces referred the bill for consideration and report to the Select Committee on Security and Justice on the 22nd of November 2016. The Select Committee inquired into the subject of the bill and invited the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development to brief the Select Committee on the purpose and content of the bill on the 30th of November 2016. Chairperson, the subject of the bill, the Protected Disclosures Amendment Bill 2015, emanates from the South African Law Reform Commission's report on protected disclosures. The bill aims to, 1, extend the application of the Protected Disclosures Act, Act number 2 of 2000, beyond the traditional employer and employee relationship. 2, to amend the Principal Act in order to regulate joint liability. 3, introduce a duty to inform employees or workers who have made disclosures. 4, to provide for immunity against civil and criminal liability under certain circumstances, and to create an offense in the case of false disclosure. Chairperson, the Select Committee, in keeping with the principle of facilitating public involvement in the legislative processes of the NCOP, agreed to facilitate public participation by advertising the bill in print media, in both national and provincial newspapers, and on the parliamentary website and other social media online platforms between the 12th to the 20th of January 2017. The Select Committee received 3 submissions from the following organization, Chairperson: Open Democracy Advice Center, Whistleblowing International Network, and Corruption Watch. On 15 of February 2017, the committee met with the aforementioned organization and the Department of Justice. The key issues raised by the organization who made submission were related to the following: international false disclosure, which is clause 9B. The stakeholders argued that the insertion of the clause to create a crime was not necessary, considering the repercussions that do exist if a person makes a false disclosure. However, the department asserted that clause 9B is aimed at deterring people from making false disclosures, with the department maintaining that reputation damage was a serious offense. The stakeholders were concerned that this would have the opposite effect and discourage the legitimate disclosures for fear arrest. Yes. Chairperson, Chairperson, the majority view held that clause 9B must remain in the bill, as it acted as a deterrent to anyone acting with the intent to report a false disclosure, with the intention to cause harm. The committee noted that clause 9B was not aimed at deterring protected disclosures, but balancing the protection afforded by the Act to upstanding South African citizens making protected disclosures, while also protecting against elements that wish to cause intentional harm to an institution or individual. The Protected Disclosures Act protects the whistleblowers when making a bona fide disclosure, but if a disgruntled employee makes a malicious false disclosure, the reputational damage suffered to the individual or company takes a long time and expenses to clear. The disgruntled employee may be prepared to lose his employment to cause harm to the individual or a company, and the addition of clause 9B adds a deterrent to this potential situation. Chairperson, the minority view agreed with the concerns raised by the public submission on the possible chilling effect clause 9B might have a protected disclosures. The members argued that the punitive measures a company could impose by means of dismissal was sufficient deterrent to prevent false disclosures. The members noted that the inclusion of clause 9B could have a chilling effect on whistleblowing for fear of prosecution. Chairperson, The Select Committee considered the subject of the Protected Disclosure Amendment Bill, Bill 40B of 2015, referred to it, and reports that it has agreed to the bill with the following proposed amendments. Chairperson, Clause 1, on page 3, from line 33 to line 35, to omit all the words from being up to offense and to insert being subjected to any civil claim for the alleged breach of a duty of confidentiality or a confidentiality agreement arising out of the disclosure of 1, a criminal offense or information which shows or tends to show that a substantial contravention of or failure to comply with the law has occurred, in occurring or is likely to occur. The Select Committee on Security and Justice therefore recommends that the Council approves the Protected Disclosures Amendment Bill, Bill 40, 2015, with the aforementioned amendment referred to it. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. That concludes the debate. I shall now put the question. The question is that the bill, subject to proposed amendments, be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 63, I shall first allow political parties to make declaration of vote if they so wish. The Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, House Chairperson. It is vital for South Africa, faced with corruption of a crippling scale, to protect whistleblowers. Our laws go a far way in doing just this, but unfortunately, the system is still letting them down. The amendment bill seeks to address these weaknesses by strengthening the provisions preventing those making accurate disclosures from being mistreated, while protection is also extended to former and temporary employees, contract workers, and service providers. We welcome this. However, there is a section to which we, in line with the majority of opinion raised by public stakeholders, object to. This specific section states that where an intentional disclosure of information known to be false is made, or of information that should reasonably have been known to be false, the whistleblower is guilty of a criminal offense. In the committee, the ANC argued that the clause is necessary to deter people from making false disclosures, as it could cause major reputational damage to victims. No proof of current abuse of this by whistleblowers was presented. False disclosures are not and have never been protected by our law, which means that false whistleblowers could be subjected to disciplinary actions, even dismissal, and civil claims for damages suffered. Contrary to this, the committee did hear that whistleblowers in South Africa are already being subject to enough risk and difficulties in coming forward. South Africa will be the first country to criminalize the disclosure of information which was mistakenly but honestly believed to be true. Whistleblowers will have the added duty to first investigate and verify information before they report wrongdoing. Failure could make of an honest and sincere whistleblower through this act a criminal. The bill's test of blameworthiness is much more burdensome and open to skewed interpretation than in the rest of the world. Chairperson, in the country where the majority of bona fide whistleblowers require investigation, in a country where corruption is at the order of the day and those standing up to it need to be protected, not vilified, the DA cannot support this bill whilst the clause is included. Furthermore, Chairperson, if this bill, like the previous one, does not pass, the blame should not be laid at the door of the opposition, because the question can be asked to the government, whose duty it is to pass their legislation. ANC, where are your members? If you are so concerned, it was you who left the country down today. Where are your members? Why can't a government pass its own laws? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. ANC, Honorable Mhlanga.
Thank you, Chair. As the ANC, we really support this bill, precisely because it was engaged thoroughly by the committee, the presentation was done, and we acknowledge that even the DA did engage with the bill itself. They raised their concern, and I believe that the chair has also indicated that we noted their concern, but I believe that in South Africa, in terms of majority rule, we took a decision due to that we understood the purpose of the bill. It protects the whistleblowers, and it will, of course, assist the states going forward and other institutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, as we are aware, there is no quorum. We shall therefore, in terms of section 57 and section 61, subsection 2, postpone the decision on the question. The secretary will read the fourth order of the day.
Consideration of report of the Select Committee on Security and Justice. Provisional suspension from office of Ms. S.R. Monaledi, Regional Court President, Northwest.
Honorable Qimbi, the chairperson of Security and Justice.
Diabulela kwakhona Sihlalo, thank you very much. Chairperson, the Select Committee on Security and Justice, having considered the report on the provisional suspension of a magistrate, Ms. S.R. Monaledi, a regional court president from Northwest, tabled by the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services in terms of the Magistrates Act, Act number 90 of 1993, reports as follows. The Minister for Justice and Correctional Services, on the 1st December 2016, tabled a report in Parliament on the provisional suspension of a magistrate, Ms. S.R. Monaledi, for parliamentary approval in terms of section 13(3)(c) and D of the Magistrates Act of 1993. On the 8th of March 2017, the Select Committee received a briefing from the representatives of the Ethics Committee on the Magistrate Commission. The committee was advised that on the 1st of October 2015, the Commission appointed 2 senior magistrates in terms of regulations as investigating officers. Chairperson, Ms. Monaledi is a member of South African Judicial Education Institution and serves on the various forums that necessitated that she travels on many occasions in and outside her area of jurisdiction. Due to Ms. Monaledi's non-cooperation during the investigation, the purpose of all her trips could not be established. The inference drawn is that some of these trips were not for official purposes. Ms. Monaledi's constant absence from the office is confirmed without any doubt in that during the past 3 years of 2013 to October 2015, she spent an average of 71.49 of the available work days away from the office. It is not sure whether or not she indeed was at her office on the other available court days, which is 28.5%. Mrs. Monaledi does not render any court work in the regional courts. Ms. Monaledi, it seems, created a second salary for herself by means of monthly subsistence and travel claims. During the past 3 years, she claimed a total amount of over 900,000. Discrepancies, including overpayments and fruitless expenditure, were identified. She, in contravention of Section 15 of the Magistrates Act, Act number 90 of 1993, is the incorporator and presently an active director of a private company, Boetha Tours and Construction. She is also a founding member and an active director of Qualito Agricultural. She, when traveling to the various courts in her region for official purposes and during official offices hours, sold expensive clothes, apparently from Dubai, from the boot of her car. She visited some of the regional magistrates to substantiate her travel claims. Ms. Monaledi obtained a certificate of good standing from the Secretary of the Magistrate Commission, in which it is indicated that there are no pending investigations against her, despite the fact that she had been informed of the decision to conduct a criminal investigation against her. It was confirmed by the Office of the Chief Justice that this certificate of good standing was indeed used as a motivation when she applied to be appointed as a judge in the High Court. The Commission was therefore of the view that there is more than sufficient evidence available to prove, on a balance of probabilities, that Mr. S.R. Monaledi made herself guilty of misconduct. There is also pre-facet evidence that Ms. Monaledi on numerous occasions submitted false substance, travel, and transport claims, and therefore committed fraud. She was also given an opportunity to show cause why the Commission should not recommend that she be provisional suspended, to which she has failed to respond. The Commission, at its meeting held on the 25th of November 2016, deliberated the matter and held the following views. One, the available evidence against Ms. Monaledi is of such a serious nature as to make it inappropriate for her to perform the functions of the magistrate or regional court president while the allegations are being investigated. Two, her conduct tarnishes the good name, dignity, and esteem of the office of magistrate and the administration of justice. Without anticipating the outcome of the investigation into the fitness to hold the office of the magistrate, the available evidence against Ms. Monaledi is of such a serious nature that it would justify her removal from office, should she be found guilty of the misconduct charges which are preferred against her. The available evidence against Ms. Monaledi justify that she be criminally charged on numerous accounts of fraud. Therefore, in terms of Section 13(3)(a) of the Magistrate Act of 1993, the Minister on the evidence of the Magistrate Commission and noting the provisions of the Act followed by the Magistrate Commission, concur with the Magistrates Commission to provisionally suspend the magistrate from the office, pending the outcomes of the investigation into her fitness to hold the office. The Select Committee on Security and Justice, having considered the report on the provisional suspension from the office of magistrate of Ms. S.R. Monaledi, a regional court president, Yasen Northwest, tabled by Minister for Justice and Correctional Services in terms of Magistrate Act of 1993, Act 9 of 1993, reports that concurs with the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services and recommends that the National Council of Provinces confirm the provisional suspension from the office pending the outcome of the investigation into her fitness to hold the office. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. That concludes the debate. I shall now put the question. The question is that the report be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 7.1, I shall first allow provinces the opportunity to make declaration of vote if they so wish. We shall now proceed to voting on the question. I shall do this in alphabetical order per province. Eastern Cape,
Eastern Cape support, Chair.
Free State,
Free State, yes, support the chairperson.
Gauteng,
Gauteng supports it, Chair.
KwaZulu Natal,
KwaZulu Natal iyayisekela.
Limpopo,
Limpopo, if yavumelana.
Mpumalanga,
Malanga, Chris.
Northern Cape,
Northern Cape support.
Northwest,
Support.
Western Cape.
Western Cape support.
9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the report agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable members, that concludes the debate and the business of the day. I would like to remind members of a briefing on the preliminary visit of taking Parliament to the People Free State Province, which will take place immediately after the adjournment. Members are requested to remain standing until the procession has left the chamber. The House is adjourned.